Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video, we're going to take a look back at 2021 and we're going to rate every single Warhammer Age of Sigmar related release this year. So this will include any Warhammer Age of Sigmar Warcry, any Warhammer Underworlds, and any special edition models and stuff like that. Of course, Age of Sigmar itself and all its releases, whether that be battle tomes, campaign books like we've had, and narrative books and all of that sort of stuff. We're not going to be focusing on Black Library. That'll be the one thing we miss in this. I'm going to do a separate video talking about Black Library, and I've got a video up talking about what I think are the best Black Library releases of last year. But I want to talk about everything we got for Age of Sigmar last year, because it was a big year for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. We saw 3rd edition, and we'll talk more about that when it comes. But we'll talk about all the releases and everything that went on for Warhammer Age of Sigmar last year. I'd love to hear your thoughts, what your favourite parts of last year for Warhammer Age of Sigmar were, and what your, least favourite parts of Warhammer Age of Sigmar were as well. With that said, let's get cracking on. We've got a few releases to talk about, so let's start off with the beginning of the year in February, because we didn't get anything in January for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. And so we start off on February the 6th, not having have had any releases in January for Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and we start off with Kagara's Ravagers. Now, first of all, this was an amazing set of models, seeing all these different Chaos Warriors and the female lead character for the Chaos Warriors. I love the narrative as well between these two, how it is a brother and sister. The two main characters of the warband is pretty sweet. This was great for anyone playing Slave to Darkness. You've got a cool new Chaos Sorcerer model, cool new Chaos Lord model, and some cool Chaos Warrior champions for your units. The thing this unit actually brought to our attention more than anything was when they released the War Scroll and we saw 5-point increments on the War Scroll. This meant that we were looking forward to 5-point increments in the game soon to be, for better or worse. But that is probably the most notable thing this brought us from this particular release. Not long after Kagara's Ravagers, man, I keep getting that name wrong, we on February 20th saw the release of the Hedonites and Daughters of Kainan. Two very, very different releases. One of these by far much more popular than the other, and probably came out a lot better with the new battle tome in the Daughters of Kainan. This was definitely a positive release for the Daughters of Kainan. Seeing some cool new models added to the range in the form of their endless spells, and also seeing the character model available at a point later in the year, but also we just got Shadow and Pain, and just seeing the ability of some new cool sub-factions and some things that were brought out in Broken Realms from Wrathy, brought into the battle tome proper. Hedonites and Daughters saw an amazing model release, and were the vast majority of models released with this dual release. We saw things like the Myrmidesh Painbringers and all the new Seekers, the Twin Souls, Glutos, Sigvold the Magnificent come back to Warhammer, and a bunch of other amazing models besides that as well, but the Slaanesh Battle Tome fell a little flat compared to the Daughters of Kainan. I don't think I've seen any two battle tomes come out in such stark contrast of competitive play ability between the two. This was really a yin and yang, or a haves and have-nots for sure, of releases. March 24th then saw another Warhammer Underworlds warband, this time the Starblood Stalkers, and the first Seraphon miniatures we'd seen in almost a decade, released by Games Workshop. And boy oh boy did this have some amazing models. First of all, we got a brand new Skink Priest model, a cool new Chameleon Skink, a look at maybe what is in the future for us there, a cool Old Blood on foot that could easily be used as a Sunblood as well with that gigantic shield, and then we got a bunch of Skink Chiefs which all work for the different variations of Skink units, so you can have some really cool leaders for your units. We've got the Bolt Spitter, we've got the Hand Weapon and Shield, and we've got the Javelin and Shield as well. A whole bunch of different variations we could use for different unit champions. This was a really cool release, getting a look at Seraphon and how we are going to go with them in the future, and hopefully one day we'll see some new Seraphon sculpts to match the amazing models that came out in the Starblood Stalkers. April 3rd then saw our second book in the Broken Realms series hit the shelves. This was of course Broken Realms Techless, and this was accompanied by a whole new lumineth Realmlords release. Now this release definitely caused a little bit of uproar because lumineth had only just gotten a release at the very end of the year previous. Now for whatever reason they decided to do a brand new battle tome for lumineth within 6 months of the old one coming out. While I guess there are issues surrounding the battle tome and everything there are a bunch of fantastic models that came out in this release. Not only did we see things like Severeth and the Spirit of the Winds come out and the Hurricane Wind charges, we saw a bunch of new Venari units in the form of Blade Lords and some other cool characters as well come out for the range. There was a ton of new lumineth stuff released with this launch, and for all the want, they were really cool. We also saw some big narrative shakeups with Arcan the Black literally being pushed off and destroyed into sparkly sparkle dust off the edge of the Realm of Light. Meanwhile, Nagash and Techless had their amazing showdown, with Techless coming out the victor. The 10th of April then saw the most cursed release of the year in Curse City. Now, we all know the fallout that happened around this, where something happened, Games Workshop did not have enough product and they had to pull it from shelves. We did not get a second round batch of releases around this until not too long ago. In December we finally got announced that we will be getting a second printing and second run of Curse City, which I am surely looking forward to. But I managed to get my copy of Curse City with the initial launch thanks to my friendly local game store, Dragon's Lair Salisbury, and it was a cool game. It definitely needs some expansions, and we have been told they are coming this year, but at the time everyone was so mad. Games Workshop were really bad at talking about what exactly was happening with Curse City. So many people didn't know. There was just so much going on that really made this a little bit of a sour release for the year. Another fantastic Warhammer Underworlds model release was to follow on the 17th of April after Curse City. Keeping with our vampire theme, we had the Crimson Court. This is probably one of the best Underworld's warbands they have ever released. A bunch of absolutely stunning miniatures for this warband. However, the war scroll for this warband was certainly disappointing in Warhammer Age of Sigmar, as most Underworld's warbands are, but this one was particularly disappointing. What could have been a unit of heroes was instead a bunch of very generic models, and it really did lack a lot of favour in Warhammer Age of Sigmar. However, they were fantastic miniatures, and well, if you wanted a bunch of cheap Vampire Lords, 4 Vampire Lords for $55 was a pretty good bargain. We then had another Broken Realms release on the 24th of April, this time seeing the first of all ever chosen come to Warhammer Age of Sigmar proper in Broken Realms Bellacor. Bellacor had a fantastic new miniature, and that model just won Miniature of the Year on Warhammer Community, a fantastic mini for sure. But this was a great release. Broken Realms Bellacor gave us some massive changes to the lore of Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and also brought in some really fantastic characters to the story in the form of finally getting Garda Steelsoul model on the table. This was amazing, one of my favourite releases of the year. It also gave us updated rules for Legion of the First Prince, giving us the Demon Chaos Host army again, with updated rules that we saw in Wrath of the Everchosen a few years prior. But this was really fun. I enjoyed this. It was great minis released alongside it, and had some great rules and great additions to the game in it as well. Next, on the 15th of May, we got Headcracker's Mad Mob, a really cool Savage Orc warband. First of all, the brand new sculpts here were really fun. New look on the Savage Orc range. We got the cool new Wargog Prophet, a fantastic alternate model with that cool looking snake. And then the Bow Orc in this one is a really favourite model of mine from the entire Underworlds range. Underworlds just continues to put out some of the best miniatures in all of tabletop wargaming without fail, and Headcracker's Mad Mob was definitely no missed opportunity to show off what they can do with an old range and new sculpting abilities. And then on the 22nd of May, we would get our last battle tome for Age of Sigmar 2.0 in the Soulblight Gravelords. Seeing the Death Army finally updated was amazing. We got a ton of brand new sculpts along this range, with brand new zombies, skeletons, direwolves, fellbats, Blood Knights, of course, along with other cool additions to the range, like the weird Vengorian Lords, Lucavi, a new Vampire Lord, a new White King on Skeletal Steed, available in a brand new Star Collecting Box for the army as well. Just a ton of cool miniatures and a cool battle tome to go alongside them. Let's not forget all the amazing characters we saw, like Kritza, Lady Annika, we saw Radikal the Beast, we saw Belladama, we saw so many good models with this release. This, for me, might have been the release of the year, I think, with so much cool stuff added to this battle tome. The 29th of May would see many more Soulblight Gravelords releases, as well as the previous mentioned releases were split over a 2-week period. However, it would also see the release of Kainan's Reapers, the Orsiarch Bone Reaper warband for Warhammer Underworlds as well. This was a really cool warband. We saw some cool different sort of miniatures. We saw the halberd wielding liege of the unit. We saw Kainan and the executor style mini that he is. And then we also saw the Mortek Archer as well. A really cool mini there that I guess is hopefully going to see, with the rumours that are hitting at the moment, potentially a whole new unit of Mortek Archers coming to the Bone Reapers. And then the 5th of June would see the Broken Realms saga for the Realms wrap up with Broken Realms Kragnos, and the monster that is Kragnos hit our tables finally, along with a ton of other wicked miniatures, like a brand new Lord Croak sculpt, the Children of Slaanesh. We would see the Vendensed Vampire Hunters as well, and even the Warsong Revenant for Sylvaneth. Just a ton of amazing miniatures released alongside this as well. There was so much cool minis released to this. This definitely had just a ton of amazing miniatures. And finally, with the updates to Kragnos as well, we can see him on the tabletop very soon, I think. And on the heels, on the 12th of June of Broken Realms Kragnos, we would see Krabnos released. The amazing crab miniature that the internet went insane for, and actually managed to get it to 2nd place in the miniature of the year. Elthane Soul Raid was really cool though, for other reasons. We saw obviously the harpoon wielding Namadi Thrall in there, another cool version of the Soul Render, and also an Achillean on foot. So there were some really cool pieces to hopefully see what maybe we might get in a future Idoneth Deepkin release potentially. Would be really cool to see some of these units explored and given life as full units. On the 3rd of July, we would see the most important release for Warhammer Age of Sigmar of the year in the form of Age of Sigmar 3rd Edition. We got that amazing video clip shown for the launch of 3rd Edition, and boy oh boy, I've really enjoyed 3rd Edition. The game is certainly not without its problems at current, but I think the most amount of games I play, the vast majority of them, are rather enjoyable. I love how we've not gone too competitive minded on things like the secondaries and the battle tactics and all that, and kept them rather simple and fun. But there are problems with the game, but for me, this was a great release, a great launch of a new edition, really giving us something interesting and different to play than the editions previous of Warhammer Age of Sigmar. On the 31st of July, we would see the brand new starter sets released for Warhammer Age of Sigmar, alongside some new battle boards on the Gurish Expanse, and some cool new terrain as well. The new terrain for Warhammer Age of Sigmar, I've still got to get some, but boy oh boy, it really is some cool stuff. The sort of half-built buildings, it's nice seeing Warhammer terrain, that's stuff being built rather than being destroyed. It's a nice sort of difference maker for a lot of Warhammer terrain we've had over the years. For me, I like all the starter sets. I like that we've got some cool new terrain. They're pretty darn sweet. On the 4th of September, after a little break from the 31st of July, which was our last Age of Sigmar release beforehand with the starter sets, we would see Arena Mortis Diachasm. Arena Mortis is a fun and interesting way to play a multiplayer game of Diachasm, each player picking a warrior and sort of fighting to the death in a very arena style game. It saw a nice little updated release for the new edition of Warhammer Underworlds, and saw out what was the edition of this version of Underworlds in Diachasm. And then finally, on the 18th of September, we would see the Orruk Warclans and Stormcast Eternals Battle Tomes. We all remember how annoying this wait was, but shipping delays and a whole bunch of other stuff besides, Games Workshop had to put these Battle Tomes on the back burner, and it wasn't until the 18th of September, a few months after we actually had started the brand new edition, that we saw the first two Battle Tomes for the new edition of Warhammer Age of Sigmar. This was pretty cool. The Battle Tomes here definitely gave us a load of new options. The Stormcast one bringing so many units out of the shadows and into the limelight, and Orruk Warclans doing a great job at reinventing what was already a great set of armies. And with that, I guess the only downside to any of this was really, for me, anything Bone Splitters. They did get a little bit of the rotten egg in this one more than anyone else, but it was a couple of really cool releases. We didn't see all the models, and we'll talk more about them in a sec, because there were even more delays. So we saw a few of the releases alongside this, but there was still so much missing. The 23rd of October saw Harrowdeep come out, the latest installment of Warhammer Underworlds, and this one really changed how we are doing Warhammer Underworlds, and if I'm honest, I don't think for the better. For me, Harrowdeep did fall short. Not only did it have a really significant price increase, there were some not so good, I guess, renditions of art into miniature, with the leader of the Stormcast Warband just not hitting the heights the art did of her. But also just some things taken out of the game that I thought made the game really fun, and changing up the release schedule of Underworlds as well, and bringing in the Rivals format. For me, this was a big miss for Underworlds. It was probably one of my most disappointing releases after I saw the initial models, because I love that Prince Egbert model in this Stormcast Warband, but for me, it definitely missed the mark and probably turned me off Warhammer Underworlds altogether. On the 30th of October, we got most of our final releases for the Orruk Warclans and Stormcast Eternals, led by none other than Granddaddy Kick-Ass, that is Bastian Carthalos. Boy oh boy is he an amazing miniature. For me, there was so much to do with Bastian. For me, it just shows so much strength in what we can do, and with miniatures. Here's an amazing miniature, and the other miniatures that came alongside him were just fantastic. Also, it's fantastic to see, and I'll say it now, seeing a black main character in Warhammer as someone front and center of the worlds. It is really, really cool to see that Bastian just leading the way, and who he is and what he represents as a character. The 13th of November saw some really cool terrain and really cool minis released in Warcry Red Harvest. I will say Warcry is fast becoming one of my favourite Games Workshop games, if not my favourite Games Workshop game. I absolutely love Warcry, and Red Harvest had a bunch of fantastic minis that we've still got to paint up and get our set on the table for you all to have a look. But it is an absolutely amazing set, so can't wait to show off some more Warcry next year, showing off Red Harvest. On the 20th of November, we got the chance to buy Holger Clovenhorn, which I've got sitting on the desk here as well, a fantastic limited edition mini for the year. It was great, once again, to see Games Workshop, when events weren't allowed to happen, to see the event-exclusive mini going up for sale on the Games Workshop website. They did this with a few miniatures this year as well, with the Warhammer Day miniatures revealed as well, available to order online. This was really cool to see all these limited edition minis. I hope they just keep posting them online, in all honesty. It's great just to have access to buy those limited edition minis when they come out online. And on the 4th of December, just in time for Christmas, we would finally see the Stormcast Eternal Dragons, Krondus, Karazai, and the units of dragons as well released finally. It took long enough, but boy oh boy, when these dragons got here, they are amazing miniatures. I can't wait to see more of them on the tables. They were so much fun to see, and they're just amazing miniatures. Definitely some of the best there have been this year. And on the 11th of December, again, just in time for Christmas, we would see the Battle Forces come out for the year. For Age of Sigmar, we would see a Slanesh one, we would see a Soulblight, Gravelords, Ossiarch, Bone Reapers one as well, and a one for the lumineth Realm Lords. All with a little bit of mixed variety. For me, the two death ones were definitely the pick of the bunch, with some fantastic minis and a fantastic set to get you started with. We've got videos up on the channel if you grab one to how to get started with all those different boxes, so go check them out if you're looking for some advice on where to go next with your purchases using those boxes. And lastly, but certainly not least, on the 18th of December, we would see the second release of a Battle Tome, while the third Battle Tome, because obviously the first two were released together, but we would see the Maggotkin of Nurgle Battle Tome. This was a fantastic release, giving us a new Rotbringer Sorcerer and also bringing Maggotkin up to date in the new edition. This Battle Tome has so much going for it. I think people are really underestimating the power of disease. We've got a battle report up on the channel showing off some disease rules, showing off the Glotkin and some other minis from the army as well. It was a ton of fun to see on the tabletop, and it's cool to see Maggotkin updated. Now, what are we going to get next year? What are you hoping for in the new year? And also, what was your favourite release and your least favourite release from Warhammer Age of Sigmar this year? Do you think there were anything they did particularly well, and do you think there were any missed opportunities? I'd love to hear from everyone down in the comments below. Well, that's the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. Please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you have not already. And also, why not drop us a comment below and let us know what you enjoyed about the video. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our little community here at Cinderful Gaming, you can do so by following the link in the video's description to our Discord server. Also, if you'd like to help support the channel more and in another way, you can do so either by supporting on Patreon or YouTube members. You can do either of these by following the links in the video's description, and as a special thing for everyone who would like to give a shout out first of all to our Patreons: Christian Weir, James, Soren, Greenskins Gaming, AJC, Kenny Lowell, Outer and Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising Ape, Q Dynamic, Agu, Anthony B, Anton Nilsson, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domer, Mark Harvey, James Cater, and Samuel. And a special shout out as well to our YouTube members: Greenrich Gaming, Kenton Young, Chris Wallace, Ronya, Vinny, Lockloric, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Revenar, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, and Sean Scott. Lastly, a special thank you to, first of all, Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork for the channel you can see here, and to Xmorphic, who does all the amazing background work for our Discord server, making sure it all works nice and properly over there. Thank you all for watching once again, everyone. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.